What's good, peeps? Thanks always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. I've got my morning brew with me. Ginger tea and green tea combined. Good combination. If you're feeling a bit under the weather, tell you what's a good combination. Fresh mint leaves, fresh ginger and green tea. Pretty good. I did a video about 2-3 weeks ago talking about ERROL Spence versus Shawn Porter. I think I titled the video, "Don't Sleep on Shawn Porter," or something like that. Go and check it out. It was about 3 weeks ago. Now, basically, what I was trying to say in that video is that we should give Shawn Porter a lot more respect. I mean, you're going to have your favorites, right? I think a lot of people favored ERROL Spence to beat Shawn Porter, but I felt like there was a lot of disrespect to Shawn Porter. I said in the video that every single time Shawn Porter, win or lose, has fought what you would class as world-level operators, he's fucking put on a good show, regardless of who it is. You can go all the way back to Devin Alexander, where I think he beat Devin for the IBF title. Kell Brook, he lost, but again, tough fight. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner. Every time he stepped up to, again, quote unquote, perceived world level fighters, put on a good show. And I felt like the disrespect towards him was unbelievable. I mean, some of the comments on that particular video were just, I mean, one guy said, I might have to sleep on your channel. I mean, you don't know shit about boxing. Bit of truth in that sometimes. The other guy was like, the only sleeping is ERROL Spence sleeping Shawn Porter. A few comments were, again, along the lines of, I'm already sleeping, as reference to me saying that don't sleep on Shawn Porter. So again, I thought it was a bit disrespectful. I think Shawn Porter in the early hours of this morning showed exactly what I thought Shawn Porter was going to show. That dog. I said in the lead up to this fight that I don't want to see boxer Shawn Porter. And some people found that disrespectful and it wasn't meant to be. But I said I don't want to see the Shawn Porter that turned up against Ugas and tried to have a boxing match on the back foot. No, I want to see dog Shawn Porter. And dog Shawn Porter fucking turned up yesterday. I wanted to see Shawn Porter that fought Brook, Alexander, Thurman, Garcia and Broner. That is what I wanted to see. And that's the guy that turned up yesterday. And that's why it was a great fucking fight. That's what I love about boxing. That Shawn Porter turned up. And I knew that Shawn Porter was going to turn up in their face-to-face. They did a face-to-face sit-down meeting. And I think ERROL Spence said something like, I'm going to knock you out. And Shawn Porter was like, okay. And that's when I knew the switch had turned. That's when I knew we wasn't going to get boxer Shawn Porter trying to jab and fight on the back foot and go to the body. We're going to get the Shawn Porter that literally is 100 miles per hour throwing punch after punch after punch for 12 solid rounds. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what skills you possess. That's difficult to deal with. You've got to be something uniquely special to deal with a fighter that can just keep on coming like that. That kind of pressure fighter is a nightmare for anyone. We even saw it with Maidana Mayweather, right? I mean, look, skill-wise, I mean, that's light and day. Mayweather is light and day, heads and shoulders above Maidana. But he just couldn't handle, in the end he won, so it's not he couldn't handle, but he couldn't know how to cope or didn't know how to cope with that kind of pressure. And nor did ERROL Spence yesterday. ERROL Spence didn't know how to do it. ERROL Spence actually started fighting Shawn Porter's fight. And I was like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And then I thought, he can't do anything about it. That Shawn Porter there will throw you off your game plan. He really will. I've seen some comments saying ERROL Spence can't make the adjustments. It's Shawn Porter not letting him make the adjustments. That's all it is. That's a guy that's on your chest for every second of every minute of every round. It's difficult, people. It really is difficult. I did score the fight to ERROL Spence. I gave it to him by a round, mainly because of the knockdown. Before that knockdown, I had it even. And I thought if Shawn Porter can somehow just dig a bit more, just go to all the reserves he had, he might sneak a decision here. But in the end, I think the right man won. But again, don't discredit ERROL for that performance. It's Shawn Porter, people. Again, it's Shawn Porter. Go back and watch the tapes. This is why I think I got a bit animated and upset in the videos I made. The proof is there. Go back and watch the tapes of Shawn Porter against the legit world-class guys. It's a fucking nightmare. So for everyone to think that Errol Spence was going to blow that guy away, Errol Spence isn't the second coming of fucking Thomas the Hitman Hearns. He's not that good. He's good, but he's not that good. And Shawn Porter isn't that bad. And I think we saw that yesterday. Fantastic fight. Fight of the year. Well done to both for putting it on the line. I hate the idea, and it's actually PBC is starting to make me feel sick, by the way. I hate the idea of how Terence Crawford's just not even fucking mentioned. I think it's a disgrace. I mean, you heard the boos, yesterday when they kind of tried to say that it's going to be Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. Errol Spence versus who? I don't want to see Errol Spence, Danny. That automatically tells me that Mikey is now fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's what's going to happen. I mean, they've got to start recognizing Terence Crawford. And I'm actually a bit disappointed with Errol Spence. Errol Spence has got to say, I want that fight. Errol Spence is in a unique position now as a double belt holder. He's got to say, when they give him the mic, say, I want one man and one man only, and that's Terence Crawford. That's the fight I want. Because that's the only way this fight's going to happen. Sorry, it's getting cold. But the overlooking of Terence Crawford is highly disrespectful. I was thinking of what next for Shawn Porter. Rest, number one. Rest is next. And then when he heals up, I know people are talking about Terence Crawford now. I don't know. I don't think Terence Crawford's going to want to fight a guy coming off a loss. But then when you look at the names that Terence Crawford has fought in the last couple of years, I mean, this will arguably be his biggest name, Shawn Porter, on that resume. So it might be a fight he's looking at. I'm not quite sure how that fight will happen. But round of applause to Shawn Porter. This is all about Shawn Porter for me. Just because he was a massive underdog and he stepped up. He fucking stepped up. And I want to say that he highlighted a few holes in Errol Spence's game. But on the flip side, you've got a fight like Shawn Porter to almost capitalize on those holes. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be like that. I was thinking of someone, a lot of people talk about Errol Spence going up to 154 pounds. I was thinking about Errol Spence versus Jarrett Hurd. That could be a nightmare match for Errol Spence. Someone that is just kind of marauding forward consistently. And you've got to put a dent in him. And I don't know if he can put a dent in them. He hardly put a dent in Shawn Porter yesterday, I mean, yeah, it was a peach of a left hook to put him down. But Shawn Porter, even when he got up, still was coming forward. So interesting times for the welterweight division. Fingers crossed that other welterweights have seen that now and think, okay, there's something there, there's something to work with. But in the end, well done to both. What do you guys think of the performance of both men? What do you think of the scorecards? I read online some people thought Shawn Porter won that fight. I don't know about that. I thought Errol Spence won it just. But wouldn't have been upset if it went either way. Definitely wouldn't have been upset with a draw. And what about the likelihood of a rematch? Surely, if a fight's worth a rematch, that's one, right? I wouldn't be too upset with a rematch. But I really want to see Bud now. Bud versus Spence is the fight I want to see. I mean, I can see Bud setting traps all night. But again, it's easy to say after that fight. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.